Welcome to Lingua Latina Tutorials, Chapter 22, Grammatica Latina. First thing I need to point out in the margin notes here is we have the principal parts of the verbs. And now that we have all the principal parts of the verb, you need to memorize these for every verb that you see in the margin. So when you see these forms, vincira, vincsisse, vinctum, you need to memorize those three forms. And the way to do this is to put it on a flashcard or on a piece of paper where you have the English meaning on one side and then the principal parts on the other side. So on one side of vincira, vinci, vinctum, vincsisse, vinctum, you'd have to bind or to chain up. On the other side, you'd write these three forms, and you need to know from the English to these Latin forms. And then for pellere, pepuli, pulsum, or pepulisse, pulsum, you would put down to drive or to force on the other side. You could also do this on a piece of paper where on one side you put the English and then you put the three forms on the other. Or in the margins here, you could write above the word the meaning and then just cover it with a piece of paper as you study, whatever works best for you. But you need to memorize the principal parts because this is how you form all the different verbs, and you need to know what endings or where you're going to put your endings. When you hear me say these verbs in the audio margin notes, you'll hear me say vincira, vinci, vinctum. I don't give the infinitive form here. I'll give the first person perfect as you get in some other Latin grammar books. So to bind or to tie, to chain up, and then I have chained up would be vinci and vinctum. But the way it is here is you have vincira, to bind up or to chain up, vincsisse, to have chained up, the perfect infinitive, and vinctum, having been chained up. That's how you would translate these three forms. The other thing I want to point out here is the ablative absolute. When you have the perfect passive participle, vincto, having been chained up, so with the dog having been chained up, you add the word in your translation after. So that's why you have postquam canis vinctus est, after the dog was chained. So when you see cane vincto, it is after the dog was chained up, the mailman at last enters. If you have the present active participle, so vincente, so if you had cane vincente, with the dog being chained up, you would translate it while. So that would be, if it were cane vincente, it would be while the dog is chained up, the mailman at last enters. Okay, so let's look at the grammar for this lesson, which is the supine. Follow along as I translate. The supine. The friends come to greet. It's because they want to greet. So when you have motion toward, then you can translate the perfect participle, perfect passive participle, as to do something. So salutatum is called the supine. The supine ending in tum shows that which someone wants to do and is placed with verbs like to go, to come, to send, and other ones that usually have some kind of motion and indicate a desire. Examples: the Romans go every day lavatum, to wash. Soldiers are sent to the town opugnatum, to fight. In the evening, vesperi, all people go dormitum, to sleep. Notice we translate it like an infinitive. They go and they want to sleep. Midas and Lydia go to the store to buy a ring, emptum. So then there's another supine. There's a first supine, which is the perfect passive participle, and then there's another supine that ends in a tu, a long u, and that is called the second supine. That is easy to say. It is easy to say that. When you have facile, easy, or difficile, difficult, you can put this second supine with it, and you still translate it as an infinitive. So dictu is the other supine ending in tu, which is put with the adjectives facilis, difficilis, easy and difficult, and is found with a few others. Examples: many things are easier to say than to do. Dictu factu. His voice is difficult to hear. Auditu. Okay, study this section, and I'll see you in the Grammatica.